Not think they would be so eager to die.
I think that there will be no way to not. You have to address race.
No.
And the Disney stock just keeps going down and down and down.
Life could be worse. They're going to do the Mary Poppins thing. They're going to do it. They're going to do it.
Oh, bitch, you killed Kenny.
Kenny.
You fat hoe.
He's so
You can't ignore my chocolateness, so we're not going to ignore that.
I get it. I'm not persecuted. I'm just an ass.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Reina Creole. Of course, always bring you that spice when it comes to sci-fi and pop culture analysis and keeping it real when it comes to theme parks. And of course, this is the Spice Lounge every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, where we just let the hot takes and the spicy conversation flow between myself, my regular panelists, and of course, special guests that we have on. We just get together, we let it fly, we tell you guys exactly what we're thinking, and you know what? We hear exactly what you guys out there are thinking as well. So I see folks are in here starting to gather, and yeah, we do. We have a whole lot to talk about with, of course, one of our regular panelists, Culture Casino, and special guest. I'm so glad she's here. She's been around since Culture and I have been around, supporting channels and having her own kick-ass channel, and that would be Miss Teresa Martin Muses. How are you, my dear?
Hey, doing great. I'm ready to get spicy. I'll tell you what, I am so ready.
It'll be fun. It will be fun.
Yeah, I'm just like, every week I think I won't have a list of grievances, and it gets longer and longer and longer. I mean, there's good spice too. There's happy spice too. We got some of that. We got some of that for sure. But man, I tell you, it's just it's how we do on this show. And of course, we love the fact that you guys are here enjoying this spice with us. And if you're part of the replay crew, let me know in the comments if you're part of the replay crew watching this on the replay, because you know what? We love you guys too. So let's see who we got in the chat before we get started. We have got Amy Jo Johnson. I see you right there. Let's see. We have got Taylor Swift, greater than Disney, Star Wars, MCU, and Doctor Who. Good to see you. Good to see you. We have got, oh, well, Teresa's on the panel, but, you know, welcome again. And let's see, we have got Alan here who says, as many have said, for me, Doctor Who ended when Peter Capaldi left the show. I don't know which one he is, because your girl watched Christopher Eccleston's episodes, Eccleston's episodes, and I watched a couple of David Tennant's, and Matt Smith was going to be the last ones that I was going to watch until chatter happened about Doctor Who. And once again, told myself it can't be that bad, can it? Yeah, it really can't be that bad. But we'll talk about that. Hey, Mark Daly, how you doing? Says greetings from what's left of Florida Capital, aka South Georgia. Oh no, did something happen there? Tallahassee? Hopefully you guys didn't get tornadoes, because we got tornado warnings down here in Orlando. We had some rough weather come through here last night, lost power and all of that stuff. But our power was back. Okay, I'm not even going to attempt to say the last part of that because I know I'm going to screw it up and everyone will laugh at me, but I will say the first name. Hopefully, I got that right. Henok says, "Hi, dudes. Well, good to see you. Glad to see you here in my chat. Haven't seen you here before, so welcome." We got Charles Ratliff says, "What's everyone?" We've got Dr. Cocho Dragon. We have got Cool Kev here. We have got Disney cast member crew Monique here in the chat. We've got Chef Nation and Little Chef, Little Doggy Chef. Good afternoon, beautiful people. I see you. Izzo's Place, Stupid Doctor Who. Ooh, we're going to talk about that. Hey, my queen. Good to see you. Good to see you, my dear. And thank you for subscribing, Philip. Thank you for subscribing, Deb Denise. I sure appreciate the subscriptions. Let's see. Florentin is here. Florentin is here. Good to see you. Mikey Sue's 4 saying hello to Teresa. Could you use one more male panelist? Actually, we got one already. Hey Hughes, how you doing?
A bit worn out, but I'm fine. How's everyone doing?
Doing
Good,
all
man.
right. Doing all right. Looking forward to some very, very interesting conversation today. Well, interesting every week, but I love
Always.
getting you guys together. Hey, Dylan, got you here. We got Mr. Stock here. We've got Steel Leg of History here in the chat. We've got Ms. Amanda. Hello, hello, hello. So many new folks. I love it. Starlina27, seeing the reviews of Doctor Who has left me feeling disgusted and ticked off at the same time. Well, we're going to get into that
Ooh.
because I don't know if I will be able to express enough how pissed off I am.
Well, I can't express that because I've never been a fan of Doctor Who in the first place. I tried to get into it, but just not for me.
Oh, it's okay. But let's just say you know what Disney does when they get a hold of something.
They wreck it. They run it.
Wreck it.
And they insult the fans, and that always goes well.
Oh, very, very. And you think that they would learn by not doing that crap every time, but apparently,
Well, because of the fact that they believe that there's people out there who are either on their side or they could be bots on social media and other internet websites.
That's true. Could be bots.
You know they do. Well, 30 of you folks in here, hit that like button. Let people
30.
know we are here. And running, got our special guest, Miss Teresa Martin Hughes, here in the chat. And let's see, you guys ready for our first topic? Let's see, I'll put a guess on up top there.
Sure.
I'm interested in some toppings.
Toppings?
I like pepperoni and mushroom.
Oh, chocolate sprinkles.
On pizza?
Oh, well, no, not on pizza. I'm not that pregnant. Or I've never been that pregnant, rather. That's how rumors get started. No.
I was going to say, long as no one says, pineapple on a pizza. Hey, Griffin. All right. Hot topics. First of all, I want to thank up front for completely messing up my hot topics. I kept having
hot topics
stuff. Let's rip the Band-Aid off this first one right here and quick. And that would be that Ironheart will release on Disney Plus next year, starring Dominic Thorne, Anthony Ramos, and Alden Ehrenreich. Who's excited?
Well,
can't you see the excitement on my face?
My level of disdain is too high for excitement.
Oh, I thought I heard surprise for a minute.
I just don't know. Ironheart, it brings me memories of like Braveheart. It's like, look, we've got Ironheart. Anything that they're doing, frankly. Ugh.
They just want to make sure that they're going to get the show for the people who never read or heard the comic books and stuff to get them to go ahead and tag along and enjoy it. But in reality,
Mm.
Those who don't really like the don't really read the comics and stuff, or didn't even read this one, they're not going to have any interest in the show at all.
That's me. That I'm Exhibit A. I'm not familiar with this character, and nothing I have seen has made me want to watch it or touch it.
Well, I have to calm myself before I talk about this. Basically,
Unfortunately,
she ripped off a Tony Stark's tech. Okay, she pretty much stole it, according to the comic books. All right, since supposed for whatever comic run that is, I'm paraphrasing. People just told me about it. Apparently, her teacher told her she couldn't really amount to anything or become an engineer or something like that because she was black or something like that. And she basically just wound up stealing Stark tech, create the Ironheart suit. Now that was in the comic book, and if I barely remember what happened in Wakanda Forever, pretty much did the same thing. She knows everything, and
so
just
basically,
this technology.
this is just a humanized, smart version of Captain Marvel, where she knows everything. She doesn't have any flaws.
Yeah, she has zero flaws. For some reason, is making a ton of money in MIT as an engineering student. As an engineering student, I can tell you, no, that doesn't work. And yeah, that was pretty much it. So they're going to make a whole show off of this premise. Now, this is something that they could have done the right way, but we all know Disney really isn't about trying to do things the right way when it comes to minority representation. It's all about doing it in a way where they can pat themselves on the back and act like they did something.
Mhm. Yeah. Faux
I
representation.
Well, again, I mean, they're doing it. Their whole everything about this, when you get down to it, the bare bones of it all, whether it be critical race theory, ESG, DEI, bridge, whatever names they throw at you, it comes down to the most superficial of things. Nothing with any depth, nothing with any substance. The whole thing they focus on, and that's why we call it virtue signaling, because it lacks in all virtue outside of the aspect of it looks like virtue. If it looks like virtue, they want you to call it virtue because they subscribe to the theory that if it looks like a duck, it's a duck. Except that's not actually what it is. And look, this comic book, not well received. This comic character, not well received. It was turned into an adult film. In fact, that's where the origins of this character come from.
Yep.
So, this is not anything you want. And then to promote or call out for its general goodness, the idea of theft in order to better your position, that is silly. Making or promoting that type of behavior is reprehensible. This is why Disney is no longer a family company. They lack in everything, not just merit, but in, I don't know, ethical behavior, moral behavior. I mean, my goodness, we look daily and talk daily about the things that are being diminished. When it comes to this, the best thing about it is going to be Alden Ehrenreich, and that's it. Nobody else in this film, I don't know. Everything that I've seen in promotion of these alternate characters,
hmm
it has been, again, the most superficial of promotion, which means all they care about is immutables. They don't care about the characters themselves. They
No.
don't care about anything else. Immutable characteristics should be the last thing anybody focuses on.
And like I said, they had a chance to do something like this the right way, to make something positive, where instead of stealing Stark Tech, instead she's working at Stark Tech, interning, you know, at Stark Enterprises. But you can't have that. You can't show, for some reason, you can't show a minority character actually earning it, just like any other character has to freaking earn it. And that's such a slap in the face. And as someone who is an engineer, makes me even more pissed. It's just freaking ridiculous. But apparently they're gonna make it, and it's pretty much gonna go over like a lead balloon. And just watch when they start saying, if you don't watch it, guess what? Guess what you are if you don't watch it. And well, then they'll just, they'll ignore people like me. You know.
Also, just to put this out there, is and to appeal to the left's logic and everything. They're basically giving us breadcrumbs about giving us a black superhero that's a spinoff of the original white man superhero.
Mm,
And yet
good
they
point.
want to call everyone racist.
Yep.
Mm, mm, mm.
Every ist form. There's a reason why Black Panther, at least the first movie, the way he was when he was still with us, that
Mhm.
character was so awesome. And I loved Black Panther, and he was a character of his own. It wasn't a ripoff of one. He was who he was. And look how unbelievably successful that movie was. Was it like $2 billion? Everyone loved that
Mhm.
movie.
Because at the crux of that movie, it was a story,
Mhm.
about a young man and his father, and losing his father, and happened to step into, that role. That's something that's universal. And you could, from what I remember, you couldn't keep Black Panther toys on the shelves. You couldn't keep the costumes on the shelves. It seemed like all the kids wanted it, especially boys who wanted it. And this is what we get. So again, Bob's proud of this mess, and nah. I could go on and on and on and on and on why this is lip service when it comes to Disney, but we'll see when it comes out, because unfortunately I'm going to have to watch it, and I will roast it for all that it is worth, which isn't worth much. Last thoughts. Oh, sorry, go ahead,
So
Teresa.
I was just gonna say, at this point, I don't even know why they're continuing to make the Marvel ones, because they're not successful. I mean, at least you could say, even with some of the garbage ones, even something like Captain Marvel, that was, objectively speaking, financially successful, even if there might have been other reasons for it being so.
Mhm.
But these ones, they're not. They're not getting ratings. They're not getting anything. And it seems like the money's just going down a black hole as far as these are concerned.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. But Bob's like,
Even,
oh, we're going to be pulling back. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Coster.
I was going to say that
Oh.
they forget that these different investment firms and stuff, they're running out of money. So what's going to happen with these projects and stuff? And when they don't make a profit, especially from Ironheart, because remember, people know that this was released around the time where the Incredible Hulk spinoff of the Awesome Hulk was made and everything, and they didn't like that either. I'm one of them. But the fact of the matter is, this is what Disney's doing. Like I stated earlier, they're going to take the things and stuff that the people aren't familiar with and try to go ahead and put it out there, assuming that they're
Yeah.
going to get it because, well, it's from Marvel. Problem is, it's not from the it's from the Marvel that didn't work. In other words, the Marvel from last decade, from the 2010s upward. And what happened after that? They failed, and a lot of people got laid off.
Mm. Yep. So not looking forward to this. So on to the next topic, which, if you thought that one was bad, this one I'm gonna let folks have at it before I give my opinion. So apparently Ubisoft is coming out with a new Assassin's Creed game. And apparently it's got dual protagonists, and one happens to be a woman, other one happens to be a black samurai.
Huh.
Yeah.
Why?
That is an excellent question. Why Ubisoft? Not saying you can, because you can't, because you can do whatever the heck you want, but you want people to pay for this? You're putting something in the setting of feudal Japan, and there's a black guy in it.
Unbelievable.
I-
It's like whoever created it spelled history.
Oh, I can see it already, though. They're going to say, well, there were ships back then, and there might have been someone on that ship, and he could have been there.
Since
That's what
when
they
was
always say.
since when was Japan and feudal Japan was a part of the slave trade?
They were not, but the Portuguese who visited the islands, they did. I don't know if you guys saw Shogun
Mhm.
at all. Well, the Portuguese were there for quite some period of time. They were I think they were Jesuits. Establishing trade with Japan, because Japan was very, closed off to outsiders. So they had actually gotten their way in there. But the Portuguese were the OG slavers of the New World. They basically owned the factory floor, so to speak, while the other company, all the other countries were pretty much, they came to them. They were the middlemen. So they would have had black slaves that were with them, but as for one who turned out to be a samurai, I'm like, no. No. I think once again, you have people mixing up something that they saw in an anime, which was a Yasuke anime or something like that, and that was fictional. I think they've got that mixed up with Afro Samurai, honestly. I mean, I'd play an Afro Samurai video game. I would if Samuel L. Jackson was doing, the voices and all that, but this is a case where it's just like, if you want to do this, this is fine. But don't be surprised when people start asking the same questions that we're asking on this panel. This is something that you're expecting for people to pay for. And it's just like, we have a lot of questions when it comes to this.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the games and any of that, so I don't know too much of the details, but it just does seem a little bit odd that
Well, I love the games, or I used to. I used to love. I used to love Assassin's Creed. I really did. I think that the Ezio collection is probably my favorite, because if you buy the collection as a bundle, you get to play through all of that. Um, what frustrates me the most is Valhalla already started to get very woke. This
Mhm.
game is incredibly woke. It's inconsistent with, the majority experience at that particular time. Dual protagonists isn't anything new. I remember, I think it was Rogue that had two protagonists in it, brother and sister, if I remember correctly. It was one of those games.
Mhm.
I love this franchise, but I'm no longer a Ubisoft fan, and therefore, I'm not surprised by anything that they do that leans just so heavily into the neo-Marxism, which is what this is. It's completely fictional. Um, and it doesn't tie back to history. One of the nice things about the Assassin's Creed franchise is it ties back into history. The storytelling interweaves with it, and it goes
Right.
back to it, and it reflects on it. And you're supposed to have a lineage with the character that's experiencing this in the Animus. You're supposed to be having the experiences that they had. So it really is rather insulting when they go about not being historically accurate. Now, again, you're going to get a lot of license with these games, but it's at least with a framework that is kind of tied to history, which is why I'm surprised that Miss Martin Muses hasn't heard of these games. But this is disappointing, to say the least.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly. He was a slave of the Portuguese, but how the heck folks made that mental leap over at Ubisoft to make him a samurai? No, no. So it's like, you can, like I say, for creatives, whatever your vision is, you are more than allowed to make whatever vision you want, but do not be surprised when people push back with their money and just say, no, we're not going to get this. So it's going to be interesting seeing what happens with this. But Ubisoft, this is something you really did not need to step in. So we shall see. We shall indeed see. Okay, for something that is okay, I have to I like this. Harry Potter Weasley twins James and Oliver Phelps to host Wizards of Baking competition at Food Network.
That is the most awesome news I've heard in months.
I would be excited if I actually watched the Food Network, but I'm done with cable.
Watch the clips on YouTube. Honestly, watch them on YouTube. That's why I watch Gordon Ramsay. I watch his stuff on his channel on YouTube. Oh yeah,
You
for
can
real,
make me.
for real. But think about it. I mean, and of course, with reading the books and all of that, how much food do they talk about in the books? I mean, just between I don't know, like everything. So this excites me.
Yeah, all those Hogwarts feasts. All the time they talk about going to Honeydukes and
Oh God, yes.
and the crumpets. Damn it, I'm
Fizzing
hungry.
Whizbees.
Oh yes, I want them. I want them all.
They gotta
Butterbeer,
have the hat there.
liquid diabetes.
Yes. You could totally do that. I mean, I'd love to see this. Yeah, I would too. I would too, and see who would come in to guest star and all of that. And who knows how much of the lore from the books that they'll pull, because they give you challenges where you have to have it under certain parameters or something like that. I mean, come up with the Birdie Bots every flavor bean that tastes like earwax. I don't know, something like that.
Oh gosh! Oh no. That would be a great challenge, though. They would have to come up with something disgusting like that.
Really disgusting.
They better have the hat there.
The which one?
The hat that helps to decide what house they belong to.
Oh, the sorting hat.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm excited about this. So it looks like, well, it's been announced, so they haven't said when, but I know the Food Network has so many. I watch way too much Food Network. I know, I'm addicted. Starlina27 says, now this I can get behind. The twins were great, even trolled an interviewer by saying they met each other on set. And I've actually met the Weasley twins in person at a convention out in the UK. They're a lot of fun. So this looks like to be a pretty fun show. 365 RAL, a cooking show starring Fred and George would be hilarious. Oh, I'd love that, especially since their mom, she was always cooking at the borough.
Well, she had 7 kids.
Yes,
Most of them boys.
So she had to keep cooking.
All those spells that she would use to cook, especially the
Oh
cooking.
yes, and wash the dishes and keep track of where everyone is. So yeah, so that looks pretty cool. I'll keep you guys posted on when they come up with the date for that. Now the big news, the big hot topic. This one I was real happy to find out. And that is courtesy of the Hollywood Reporter, Donnie Yen to star in John Wick Kane spinoff movie. Lionsgate is developing a film around his assassin character after the Hong Kong action hero pushed back on Asian stereotypes and got script changes. Okay, that second part, all right, yeah. But I would love to see him
Let's see.
as that character, because that character was freaking amazing.
It was very good. I really enjoyed his character in the film. I actually enjoyed the film, except for the stairs scene, which went on for 2 weeks too long.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I agree.
aside from that, it was a good film, and I feel like I feel like well, I feel like this would be a worthwhile endeavor for people to watch. I think it would be. I think this would be a fun series. And you know what? Ignore the other part of that sentence because it's only there to virtue signal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Because that's not really it. Because I mean, Donnie Yen, he's done so much stuff. If you've ever watched Enter the Fat Dragon, he's in that. It's really good. It's really good. He's a star in his own right. So that last part, I'm just like, okay, whatever. Most people aren't even looking at that. They're just looking at Donnie Yen, John Wick Kane spinoff, because that character was just that good in the John Wick movie and in John Wick 4. And not only that, but the backstory behind that character and his unique fighting style in the film as well. Because for those of you who don't know, he's blind in the movie.
Mhm. Yeah, this has a lot of potential.
Why is he always playing the blind character?
I don't know, but one of the things that I do know about samurai lore, there's something about the blind samurai because you can't fight him like you would anyone else, and he's even more lethal. So I think that's a trope, but I don't know. He's good at it. That's all I can say.
I get that. Yeah, I get it.
Well, they use their other senses that you wouldn't expect. So
Mhm. And that's exactly what he did in John Wick 4. I think he was throwing up like motion sensors and stuff. So that when people tripped him, he would take them out. It was like, dang, I wouldn't have even thought about that.
oh, well,
You
that's
know.
awesome.
But yeah, hey, Aunt Beck. So yes, this came out of, I believe, out of Upfront today. Blind Samurai is like the very old version of Daredevil. Absolutely Goof R35. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm excited about this and I'm very much looking forward to it. So I believe that is all of our hot topics. So 45 of you guys out there watching, thank you so very much for being here. Oh Lord, are we ready to get into the main topic?
Let's
The
do
main-
this. Let's do it.
Let's rip this Band-Aid off, okay? I don't know why Bounding in the Comics website does not like me, but here we go. Doctor Who star Ncuti Gatwa pushes disingenuous narrative that critics of the latest series are racist. I guess I'm going to be real racist today. All right. Because I have so much criticism. So for folks who do not know, Disney, I guess, got their hands on Doctor Who and brought Doctor Who to Disney Plus. Now, your girl, I watched the BBC revival. I watched the first season with Christopher Eccleston and loved it because Doctor Who is like this combination of like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and James Bond wrapped up in like a eccentric nerd, like eccentric scientist's body. And there's always these like mysteries every week. And I loved how it was not very straightforward. The stories were so good, at least it was to me, that it took a while to unravel and, and figure out. And some of the episodes were written so well. It's like, man, this is actually really, really good.
Mhm.
So I thoroughly enjoyed what I watched, especially as I visited the UK about 4 times. So it was nice watching those episodes and reliving being back, in London and all of that, and just the British cultural references that are in it. Love that. With this show,
Mm.
Disney did with it exactly what I thought they would do with it, and that is dumb it down to the least common interesting denominator and basically treated it like a musical.
And not even a musical, like a bad vaudeville nightmare.
Yeah. It was just bad. So Teresa, speak some more about that when you say vaudeville nightmare.
Yeah. Well, because vaudeville, it's a certain kind of a thing. But they took this character, obviously, of a certain identity, and
Mhm.
just over the top. Like, even people that like to go to those kind of shows or drag queen type of shows or those wouldn't like it. It was just awful, and it was disgusting. And I guess that makes me a phobic of insert phobic, but it's like, no, I know these things. I know this kind of entertainment. It has a place. It has a very niche place. But in Doctor Who, and especially because Doctor Who traditionally has been family friendly. Like, it was a show
Yes.
that you could watch with 11, 12-year-olds. Maybe I wouldn't go much younger than that, but as a family, we used to always watch it with the kids. I wouldn't let my kid or the kids in my life watch 3 seconds of it.
Mm-mm.
And it has nothing to do with the fact that he's black or gay or non-binary or whatever. It just has to do with something that's wildly inappropriate for the age group and also not in keeping with the tradition of what the show is. I mean, when the doctor was straight, if you will, when it was David Tennant, he wasn't going around going to song and dance things and dressing in clothes and throwing off clothes. And I mean, just over the top weirdo-ness that was associated with sexuality. Now, he was always eccentric and he was funny and he was whimsical, but they didn't do that with a straight character, but they're doing it now with someone that is not. It's almost like
Well,
they were taunting people. They were just waiting for someone to say something so that they can say that you're just narrow-minded. And then, of course, he went and told us all to not watch and to touch grass. So apparently that's what everyone did. I really loved it on Twitter when I saw everyone posting pictures of them touching grass.
yeah. Look, the fandom is undefeated. It's just a matter of time. I mean, this whether or not they were going to call us an ist or a phobe or whatever, which they managed to do in the course of several articles that were written on the cratering ratings. Um, the audience just isn't interested. I predicted this several weeks ago. Recently I released a video that was talking about the fact that we were leading up to this moment, and today they gave us what we predictably expected, which is an attack. And they'll do it again on the basis of any of the other immutable characteristics or sexuality or any of this other stuff. I've never understood the mentality behind attack your fans. I don't get it. I mean, these are the people who got you to where you are. So making something outwardly that will not appeal to them, and then criticizing them because they don't have said interest in your product is, I'm going to say the word asinine because I'm trying to keep it clean. But I mean, I recorded a video for this for tomorrow because I'm sick and tired of this Disney playbook because this is dismal Disney. And, broadly, this show, because of this 5-year-old godson commentary, broadly,
Mhm.
this appeals to kids. I mean, kids, adults, it appeals to everybody. It's going to be on Disney minus, right? And
Mm.
what are they pushing forward? What indoctrinating characteristics are this show? Anyway, that's a whole lot of splash of damage there, so I apologize, but I'm
Oh,
frustrated here.
no, 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 no. We expect for you to do that culture. But I was of the same exact mind. And I remember when this was announced for Disney Plus, and my first reaction was they are going to mess it up. If you thought Dr. Karen was bad,
Hmm.
aka Jodie Whittaker, I didn't even watch that. I just let other people tell me what happened with that. I'm like, if you think that was bad, Wait until Disney gets their hands on this property. And that's exactly what they did. They took it, they dumbed it down. They made it, like Teresa said, like a bad vaudeville act. Treat your audience like they're stupid. You don't have the attention span to pay attention to what's going on and the nuance and everything, behind it. You've got babies being abandoned. I never saw that happen, in the original Doctor Who. And, dude is the new doctor. He's just like flamboyant. I mean, he doesn't have that edge like the regular, like the original, the OG Doctor Who. He was eccentric, he was debonair, he was more like, of course, I'm the doctor. And this guy, he's just like, I'm the doctor. Two snaps up and back, pretty much, and very, very out there uh, with it. I'm just like, why? Once again, you had a built-in fan base for an amazing show, which I didn't watch a lot of, but a lot of my friends were Doctor Who fans. And what do you do with it? You decide to, number one, because first of all, off the bat, nobody cares that he's freaking gay. Nobody cares that he's a black. I want to say nobody. Most people don't care that he's black. They just care that it's a good Doctor Who show. And you couldn't even give us that. So what's your excuse for it now is, oh, you want to call us is and phobes and whatever because we don't like it. Got why he's not that good of an actor. I do not buy him as the doctor. He seems to be playing at being the doctor instead of truly embodying the character of Doctor Who. It's just ridiculous. And what you guys were talking about earlier, like the rave and everything that was going on with what has to be the worst drum and bass I've ever heard in my life. It's very obvious what they were going for with that. And it's an insult again to the fans, and they're doing the same thing that they did with Kenobi and with Moses Ingram. You're gonna blame the fans for not liking this. And then once the ratings go into the toilet,
It's
what are you
also
gonna
the
say?
fans' fault. Yeah.
Yes, it's
Well,
also the fans' fault.
I love it when I first heard the term fan baiting because you see this in the playbook. They did everything to bait the fans and then they're going to attack. They did the same with Rings of Power. We might talk about that later. But the whole thing is they throw this out there where no one of goodwill was going to enjoy it. So it's like they're almost wanting someone to say something. And then the first time someone says something inappropriate, because as you said, there probably is a racist out there or someone that's homophobic out there, they'll just say, you see, look at these awful fans. And that's what they've done. That and come up with the weirdest excuses like good weather in England. That was an excuse for the low ratings. It's like,
what?
Yeah, that was what there was an article saying, well, the weather was so warm, people were outside, so they weren't watching the Doctor Who. I saw an article about that.
I'm sorry. No. In England, if it's too warm outside, they stay in the house.
Well, and they can watch it later when it cools down. Well, for one thing, too hot in England is 60 degrees.
That's true. Yeah, I was there when that happened. I'm like, this is beautiful and the weather and this is nice. And I thought England was freezing. And people were like, love, it's so hot outside. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, Nana, it's only 70 degrees. I don't get it. Oh, but you're so right. It's just, yeah, the living embodiment of pandering. That's exactly what he was. It's just, that's not that's not the doctor. And Black Superman was right. Doctor Who is about adventure, not propaganda. And I think that's the big problem that I had with this incarnation, beginning with the first episode. You're talking about abandonment and all these other issues, and I keep saying that because of, if anything, Doctor Who always had a hopeful vibe to it. I mean, yeah, there were some episodes where it's like, I don't know if the world is going to survive, but for the most part, it was hopeful. all the kinds of adventures and where to go, you know. Ugh, I mean, I could talk about it like forever, but it's just, and I'm just a normie fan. I can't imagine for people who were like fans for years and have this crap happen.
Yeah. I think a lot of us are just having to get to the point where we completely divorce our brains from what we're seeing, the same way I did about Star Wars, that anything after the EU, Return of the Jedi, and was the movies, the 6 movies, the EU, and then just pretend it doesn't exist. I think that that's the only way people can stay sane with this. You just got to pretend it doesn't exist.
I tell you, they start.
Oh, dear.
Mark Daly said, "What happened to only mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the noonday sun?" Clobbering Times, hey Clobby, says, as a Doctor Who mega fan for 42 years, I'm both disgusted and saddened by what's been done to this beloved show over the past 8 years. This new trash is so bad it's not Who anymore. So sad.
There we go.
Yeah, it's really, really sad. But hey, can't wait to see some more of those ratings come in because how many episodes is this season? Does anybody know? I know most people probably don't even freaking care how many
I
how
think
many
it's
that it is.
I would think it's 8, but again, I mean, you know, I can look it up, but um it's just interesting to be fair.
Yeah.
I feel bad for anybody who's truly invested in the show. Um I I really honestly wouldn't be. Um I I don't know what to say. I mean, I've been doing videos on this for a while, and the 15th Doctor is not doing it for people.
Mm-mm.
You know,
Well,
Yeah,
I
we
think
got-
a lot of people were also weeded out by the Dr. Karen too. I couldn't watch even the promos for her,
Mhm.
so I never even tuned in. So if there's anybody left at this point,
yeah, I was right. There's 8 episodes scheduled.
8
The
episodes.
next one up is the Stephen Moffat uh, uh, created one. So we're getting Stephen Moffat back for one episode, and it's appropriately titled "Boom."
Mm.
okay. Oh dear,
Yeah,
this
about
just
I'm
hurts.
scared.
uh,
It just hurts.
I'm scared. JD3138 says, we can wrap it up with this one. This was going downhill when the new Doctor interview came out, and there was nothing said about caring for the character or reverence for previous doctors or productions. And you know, you are you're 100% right. And I'm embarrassed that I didn't actually have that up here to show you guys. But he when he went on, they did an interview with Nakuti Gatwa, I think at the premiere or something like that. All he talked about was himself. You know, it's like he didn't talk about really about Doctor Who. He didn't really talk about what he liked about Doctor Who. It was all about, you know, his chocolateness, so to speak. And that was it.
Hmm.
Yeah, boy.
Chocolateness. And, you know, of course, the Doctor's gonna have to talk about race. I mean,
And then they say, "Why is everyone talking about me being black?"
yeah.
It's like maybe you started it.
Because oh, go ahead, my dear.
I'm just saying this is 2024. My entire life, I was born in the 70s. We've had black actors and all that. It's not the 1940s. We're used to seeing black stars of TV shows. We all have for years, decades. Oh my gosh. People are not going to quit watching a show because someone's not white.
No. But once again, they think that we're stupid. And think that people aren't going to watch it because they're Black.
Mhm.
But the other part of it is it's like we can pass this crap off. And if somebody tries to say something against it, then guess what? You're istrophobe or whatever. But
I
let's
think that there will be
use
no
our
way
words here.
to not. You have to address race. I think like the Doctor has been. This is the first time the Doctor has been Black for this long, and he tends to spend most of his time on Earth. It's a favorite of his, and so yeah, it would be essential to explore race within this tenure. It's something that I would want to do, and like I don't think you could ignore it. You can't ignore my chocolateness, so we're not going to ignore that. I think that there will be no way to not. You have to address race.
I'm
I think
actually
like
trying to stop us right now. So, I'll say
Wow.
something that Avery Brooks told me once. Actually, he told this to somebody in the audience. Because somebody interviewed, somebody asked a question. They said, since you're first Black Star Trek captain, when is there going to be an episode of DS9 that deals with race? And you know what Avery Brooks said? Why am I interested in dealing with a subject on a fictional television show that I have to deal with as a Black man every day in America?
Hmm.
It's like, I'm a starship captain. Why do I have to deal with race on Star Trek?
Yeah.
Why? Because it's something you want to say? He said, well, he didn't say that, but that was pretty much it. It's just like, I'm on one of the greatest science fiction shows in history, and you want me to do an episode that centers on race? Really?
The whole thing of Star Trek is we've moved beyond that because it's 4 centuries in the future.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And eventually they did wind up writing an episode that was like that, but Avery wound up I think directing that one. I think it was like the last season, I think that they did it. But it was interesting the way that they did it, but it was just ridiculous. Oh yeah, he was awesome. He was awesome as Cisco. And yeah, I had some great conversations with Avery about that. And Ian McKellen said something similar about gatekeeping gay characters to gay actors. The point of acting is pretending to be someone that you're not. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, 60 of you folks in here watching. Thank you so very much. I sure do appreciate that. Got everyone here on my panel and special guest, Miss Teresa Martin Uses over here to the right of me, left of me, right of me. Well, she's right next to me.
We are side by side.
Yes, we are. What am I drinking? I'm drinking tea because I've already had my 2 caffeine cup limit for the day.
I would like to bring up the point that this show is rather misandrist that we're on right now because the ladies are on top.
Oh, that's
though?
misandrist.
I was just being funny. You know that.
I was gonna say, you know what? Because of gravity, when we drop the sandwiches to you guys, it'll get there faster.
There you
That's
go.
true. I'm fine with it now. Now you've explained it to me. I'm good. I'm good.
Oh man. Okay, let's see. Next topic. And I am really, man, I so want to hear from Teresa on this one. How many of you folks have seen the trailer for Rings of Power season 2?
Unfortunately, I have.
Hey, Hughes, have you zoomed in on this picture of her face? It looks weird.
Whose face?
I mean, her face. This chick. It doesn't look real. It looks like it was like computer animated or something. It's very strange.
Yeah, it's freaky.
I could definitely believe that because I saw the same thing too.
Very weird.
digitally altered. And she's a lovely actress. She is beautiful. I've seen her in some things like in a Charles Dickens where she's got the hair and the pretty dress and the floofy stuff. She's a pretty lady. They
Mhm.
are going out of their way to make her ugly and make her look weird.
And make her masculine. Don't forget about that.
Oh, well, that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take everything beautiful about her.
It's like they have this thing about just making the characters ugly.
Yeah.
Especially the female characters ugly.
That's
they're
about
trying to
ready to
make them-
say. They make one of the men look very good looking, and I will stand by
Yes.
that.
Well,
The
they're doing
villain.
this.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say they're doing this because of the fact that they want to make like promote more like the average looking stuff. But in
Mhm.
reality, the average looking stuff is not really cutting it and stuff. Not because of the fact that it's from discrimination or anything, but the fact of the matter is people preferred to see what was described in the book and stuff for the characters. That Galadriel is not described in the show as she was described in the book of the Silmarillion.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, she wasn't even all that tall.
And this is my thing with being a normie about Lord of the Rings. There's certain things I expect to see. And if I don't see them and I can't identify it as truly being something from Lord of the Rings, I'm not going to pay attention to it.
What would you want to see?
There's like characters that I recognize, like that Galadriel is not the Galadriel that I saw in the movies, not even the ones from barely parts of the book that I read, because I didn't read all the books all the way through. They weren't my thing. I wasn't into fantasy, but it did not feel like Lord of the Rings to me at all. And I'm
I
thinking that if
guarantee-
I'm a normie and I can't identify with it, I can't even imagine what people who like live and breathe this stuff feel about it.
Well,
I guarantee you that they're going.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, I guarantee you they're not going to give him the name Anatar and everything because of the fact that a lot of the rights to the book of Silmarillion and stuff, they don't have the rights to that. They just have only a few pages of the prologue and everything, and that's about it. Just a few pages, and they decided to go ahead and stretch it out into 5 seasons.
Well, they're making up the entire plot because there is actually an amazing plot of what happens in the Second Age. Nothing that is actually occurring in this TV show is anything Tolkien wrote. Even Anatar, because as you said, we're not going to be able to even call Sauron Anatar, and who Anatar was is not what we're seeing. It's such a waste of time and money. Now, to go back to Morfydd Clark, she would be fine if she was playing a human in this world because she looks like a human, but she is not an elf who has seen the light of the trees. She is not that. If this was the current, rather the Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers, the Return of the King, maybe she could even be Eowyn, a character like that, which, okay, that might make sense. But
I was
she
thinking the
is not,
exact same thing.
but she's not Galadriel. And they haven't written her as Galadriel. And of course, her husband's gone. Dead, whatever. I don't know.
Mhm.
Celeborn. But maybe he's safe because imagine what they would do to Celeborn if they would have him in this. He would be pathetic. She would be putting him down all the time. And I don't know. Oh, there he is. Speaking of which, you see, this is the only good looking person in the entire series.
True.
Sauron. Heck yeah. Anytime, any day, all night. Charles Vickers is very fine. But that shows how backwards they have their entire vision of this. That the only good looking, and not even good looking in the way he's kind of supposed to be like an angel of light, like the devil kind of a thing, but truly good looking, truly charismatic, and the only one that makes sense. In season 1, he was the only character that made sense and talked reason and logic. Everyone else were acting like sociopaths.
Yeah, he actually seemed like the one sane person
Yeah.
that was in the whole entire thing, you know?
I asked again. I've appeared on like a number of live streams as well as made videos on this series and stuff. Many times when they ask the same question, why would you make the show if you don't fully have the rights to the Silmarillion or let alone the whole Tolkien works and stuff? You just only have rights to a few pages of the first Lord of the Rings book. That's it. And the fact of the matter is, it's going to go ahead and just juice this dry and everything, and then just continue to go ahead put add a lot of other stuff that wasn't even mentioned in the books, or let alone the lore and everything. And no, I didn't watch season 1. I'm not watching season 2 because of the simple fact that there's no reason for this to be made. And the fact of the matter is, Jennifer Salke, as well as the owner of Amazon, I forgot his name, just like that.
Jeff Bezos, and that's the
Jeff
crux of
Bezos.
the issue with this. This is a passion project for him, so he's just throwing money in the fireplace for this sucker.
Throwing money in the fireplace is not going to get like a profit at all, because of the fact that he spent billions of dollars and stuff on this show and everything. Yeah, a lot of stuff looked mediocre, included the new wig on Sauron and stuff in his fair form and all of that.
Let me show you. I was like, this dude.
He looked like a white male Lil Kim from the 90s.
He looks like Legolas's cousin. That's what he looks. I said homely cousin, but yeah. What's his face? He does not look like Legolas. Oh, hold on, we got one more person back. Hey, Vash, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on? I am so sorry, Lorena. I am late. I do apologize. I did not mean to be. I love the Spice Lounge. It's just, man, Hollywood Waterloo
you are late in Vash.
Yeah, well, I had some rendering issues before. Pro wanted me for a second. It's like, whoa, but okay, I am finally here. I do apologize. I'm what are we talking about here? We're talking about some season 2 of Rings of Power.
Yeah. Legolas's homely cousin. Sauron.
Not Anatar.
Man, I don't know about this one. I'm looking at my screen right here. I'll just go ahead and full screen this. Ooh, yeah. Well, I don't know. Okay, look, listen. I would say gals and guys like the good-looking guys on screen. I don't think there's much redeeming quality here, though, for any gender. Now, I could be wrong. I don't want to speak with the ladies. For the males out there, I don't know. This doesn't really do it for me, especially in the Tolkien fantasy universe.
Well, he looks really, really, really fine when he is in his Halbrand form. And in this, I would still take him compared to all the other dudes on the show. I mean, he still at least, looks like he knows what to do with a woman.
Okay. Well, all right. You see, I didn't want to speak, and I'm glad I did not, because you know what? That's a different opinion than what I was expecting.
Well, look at him compared with the Downton Abbey guy. I love the Downton Abbey guy, but he belongs in Downton Abbey with a cocktail in his hand and a tuxedo and
That's a fair point.
Sitting around talking about poetry. That's not Celebrimbor. And Elrond, aka young Ned Stark, that's not how Elrond looks. He belongs, I don't know, he looks like he belongs in a gymnastic meet for high school. That's what Elrond looks like.
Is it me, or did that version of Elrond look like a cuck?
Yeah. Yikes. I couldn't fix that with girl.
Well, hopefully they won't be doing it too often. This could even be maybe some sort of weird flashback as well. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to try to bring this version of him into the show.
Well,
Culture.
I mean, this is this season's version of him, though. I think that's what we're getting, Miss Martin. I think we're getting this, and I think that it kind of is going to show us just how well they don't understand any of this. I mean, look, Hughes said a moment ago, all they had was really letters and appendices to work from. They didn't have really anything else.
Mm-mm.
And of course, I think Embracer gave them access to the greater things. At least, that was what was supposedly to have happened. But like you said, they went their own direction with the show, and nobody is particularly interested in it. I think, was it mentioned earlier that only 30% of people stuck through this all the way through?
37% of people who watched it from the day one, from the series premiere all the way to the
So,
season finale and stuff, watched it. Only 37% of the viewing audience.
wow.
Mhm.
So they're starting from 37% of last year's start.
Mm.
So 37% of what they had to begin with, and now they're headed into another season where they'll likely lose half of that. Would you suggest maybe? I mean, I can't imagine that this show is going to get a lot of traction.
Mm-mm.
And the aesthetics of the actors aside,
Mhm.
quality wigs or no, I don't think there's going to be a lot of conversation around the water cooler, on this one. I,
No,
yeah.
no, there really is not. The only part that I did like were the dwarves. And when they stopped showing the dwarves, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I'm not watching this. I'm not watching
From
this anymore. It's just so
from
it's bad. It's bad television. It has no concept of what fantasy is. And at the crux of it, even if you take Tolkien out of it, that is part of the crux of it. It's like they have no idea how to write a fantasy show. None
Mhm.
whatsoever.
activism first and then creatively went nowhere.
I'm sure you guys already covered this, but the like to dislike ratio is astounding.
Oh yeah, we hit that the first time. And actually I'll let Hughes talk about this since he's gotta go on his way out. Oh yeah, let's see. I just want to see if it changed. 247,000 downvotes. Oh, sorry. We have more.
Golly.
317,000
Whoa.
In that short period of
downvotes.
time,
Yes,
One day.
literally.
dang.
Well,
This is
I
from
mean,
when the show started. That was at 270 something.
okay, and now understand that this is what just a little over 24 hours that this has been out at this point, right? Within
Yep.
a half an hour of this going on, you had the release of the House of Dragon trailer.
Oh yes, let's pop over to there. Look at this here.
Culture Casino sound like Seinfeld saying that.
Yeah, well, thank you. That's a compliment. Appreciate that. Thank you. Hughes.
112,000 upvotes to 1.7K downvotes for
Dang.
House of the Dragon.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I knew that the House of the Dragon trailer was going to be coming out on Tuesday. So when I saw on Monday that the Rings of Power is coming out, I'm just like, I don't know who was trying to scoop who. Was it House of the Dragon that they knew about the Rings of Power, or the Rings of Power knew about House of the Dragon? Because it doesn't. It's like you just can't do the same thing at the same time. And I think that that's why they're having the Rings of Power come out after House of the Dragon. But trust me, we're not going to watch House of the Dragon and then go into that garbage. It's just not going to happen.
I just know that on Twitter, Amazon dropped the picture for Sauron, and then HBO Max dropped the trailer for season 2 of House of the Dragon. Hughes, I know you got to roll out of here, my dear. So please let the people know where they can find you and what you've got going on.
Well, y'all can find me here on YouTube and on Rumble, and also this Friday night at 10 p.m. I'm going to be doing an episode 2 of Cosmic Culture Live. Hang on, first off, Culture, what time is your live stream this on Friday? Is it at 10 or a different time?
Well, my live stream on weekdays is the same time, so it is 7:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or I think that's, what would that be? 10:45 Eastern Standard Time.
I'm talking about at night.
Oh, on Friday nights it's at 4:30 p.m. Pacific.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so
Yep.
I guess we're good.
Yep.
If needed, I could join you if you want before my
Oh.
live stream.
Yeah, it would be wonderful. In fact, you're welcome to be the guest for Friday if you'd like to be used.
I'll
Well,
be
there you
there.
go. It's solved. I'll write it down now.
All
All
right.
right. Thanks, y'all. Y'all take it
Fantastic.
easy.
All right, you
Nice
too,
meeting you.
Hughes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And first of all, I love that how went that's just the sound effects for me. 45 you folks in here watching, and kiss my grits. Thank you for that $4.99 super chat, my dear. I so do appreciate the support. Just thanks to Rings of Power, I have no confidence in Amazon MGM to make a great Masters of the Universe movie. He-Man will be emasculated. They just want to kill me with that. Yeah, I don't. Well, let's put it this way. It depends on who exactly is controlling the production. It's like the difference between, is Amazon running it, or is it, say, a studio like Skydance or someone else doing it? I don't know for sure. I would say that would be the only saving grace in a way, but be interesting to see what happens. But here is a trailer for House of the Dragon. Now let's see. I've had this up for about 45 minutes. I'm just curious to see if that's changed at all. 114K upvotes to 1.8K downvotes.
That's the 1,000 people that try to watch the Rings of Power, trying to.
We need a palate
Or the
cleanser.
bots that they bought.
I feel like they went around the Amazon corporate office and says, "Can you guys please go downvote this trailer?"
Exactly. We'll give you a Starbucks gift card.
If you do it.
Please.
I mean, there is such a marked difference between the boring Rings of Power trailer for season 2 and then watching this trailer for season 2 of House of the Dragon. First of all, has anyone on the panel watched this trailer all the way through yet?
Oh yeah, several times.
What's your thoughts?
Oh, it's a good trailer. I really like what they're showing. Well, for one thing, to finish up with Rings of Power, it's like, where are we going in Rings of Power? We don't know. There's no plot. What do we know is going to happen at the end of the House of the Dragon season 1? We had that death. We had Rhaenyra going, bleh, looking at the camera, and now it's war. Boom! And then we go into this. That's how you do it, kids.
100%. You knew it ended like a good season ender cliffhanger should end, when it's just like, oh my gosh, I got to find out what happens. What do you mean I got to wait a year and a half to find out what happens? And everybody's talking about it. It ended perfectly. And with the trailer, it's just what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do, from all of these people's points of view, from Team Green's point of view? And then you see, crazy Aegon just does not give a crap whatsoever. And then all the other characters, oh my gosh, just the intrigue that you seeing where people are starting to move their chess pieces around to deal with the fallout from the end of last season. I know I'm excited about watching it. I know I absolutely freaking hated season 7 and season 8 of Game of Thrones. This one I can watch in isolation, so to speak. And I have not read the book, so I know Hollywood takes license with what they do. But speaking from other people who have read the books, for the most part, they've been pretty happy. They've got some issues with some parts, but on the whole, pretty much seems like a halfway decent adaptation.
Yeah, it is. And we know enough from looking at this preview that some very important things that will shock the living out of all of you. There's something that makes the red wedding look like a tea party, and they're gonna do it because there's hints in this trailer. They're showing little bits, so those of us that have read it, we know what they're gonna do. They blacks are not screwing around. They killed Lucerys. Rather, oh yeah, it was Lucerys. Sorry,
Yeah.
Jace is still with us. They're gonna go there. They're gonna do it, and that's what made this trailer also very exciting because we know what's coming. And I'll tell you all: you put on your helmet, you put on your big girl panties, you put on whatever you need because episode 2 is gonna be wild.
God, I can't.
I know I can't wait either. I want to see it. It's so disturbing, but I want to see it because I can't wait to see everyone get shocked. I actually have a spoiler video on it, but I put spoiler all over of it. And of course, the battles. The battles are unbelievable. We're going to see dragons going balls to the wall. We've never seen that.
That's my thing. I mean, you know me. I love dragons, but seeing like the dragons fly in. Okay, and don't claim me, don't like Cammy, but just the dragon combat whole. I just wow. Compared to what they couldn't do in Game of Thrones, just technology wise, but in this, the dragons are as much of a character as the other characters are, which is just it's gonna be freaking awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a few things that we've heard some whisperings of that don't make me very happy, but since it hasn't been confirmed and they haven't shown it in there, I don't want to talk too much about rumors because you know how rumors can be. They can turn out to be false, or sometimes leakers just like to play around with people. But I think for the most part, everyone's going to be very excited. And the climactic battle of season 2, we know what the battle is. So it's going to be badass. It's going to be amazing. And I'm going to love it.
I'm looking forward to it. I thought it was a very good trailer. I think it really does set up the next season. So I'm right in line with what Miss Martin is saying. My only caveat is this isn't the only good thing coming out of HBO. You know, because Warner Brothers Discovery has been doing a lot of great things, and today, because hey, why we've kicked Amazon once, let's do it again. They dropped a first look of the Dune Prophecy.
Yeah.
So the teaser trailer for that was released this morning. So at the Upfront event. So, I mean, I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of stuff going on. Disney's Upfront yesterday was complete garbage. It was raunchy. It was definitely not family oriented in any way. There was bad language, poor humor, et cetera, for a business trying to sell ads. A little bit different when Max comes at something. There you go.
10,000. Yeah, this was this is 10,000 years before the birth of Paul Atreides, and I caught something that came across Twitter, and I can't remember the name. So all of my channel peeps who are my Indian film peeps, they hired this one Indian actress who is famous over in Asian cinema to be in this show. And I'm blanking on what her name is, but I mean, I loved it because the Bene Gesserit have always fascinated me in Dune. So
yeah. Then again, this series is based on the Sisterhood of Dune novel. So, and if they do a good adaptation, this will be brilliant for one season.
I gotta tell you, wow, Bash, have you heard about this one yet?
I have not. I must say I am uninformed, but all of this looks very inspiring. It looks very, very good. I like to see studios taking taking the fans at least somewhat into account. Now, I'm not saying you have to kowtow to them all the time specifically, but it is nice to know that there's someone looking out and looking to make good product and looking to make good content and looking to tell good stories again.
Absolutely. I'm excited about that. So thank you, Culture, for bringing that up because I completely forgot about it. because there was so much that came out today from up front, like good stuff that was coming out of up front. So this is gonna be awesome. This is gonna be awesome. So the last thing that that I want to talk about, and again, I'm glad that I have Teresa here, and glad all of you guys are here with me. And I totally lost my page that I had. Okay, there it is. There it is.
Hmm.
So I'd heard that Peter Jackson was going to do another Lord of the Rings themed movie. Of course, I was excited because I loved the Peter Jackson films. I did not read any of the Lord of the Rings books. It just was not for me. I love the Hobbit cartoon. That's like one of my favorites. But watching all the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings movie, that is a good time. I will disconnect from humanity and watch all of them because they're just gorgeous. They're just gorgeous, and I love how they're shot. So apparently he's coming with this one, The Hunt for Gollum. That one kind of raises my hackles a little bit. Why are we looking for Dude? I don't know. What have you guys heard about this film so far? I'm curious to see what you guys think.
Well, it focuses on a very specific part of a book, and this is going to be told from the opposite side of the pursuit of it, where, if I remember correctly, it's Aragorn who's actually in hunt of Gollum. This is going to focus on the story from Gollum's side of the equation. So I imagine he'll be, stooping next to the pool of water and trying to fish out of there. So
Yeah. And it'll have some Gandalf in it as well. It's mentioned in the Fellowship of the Ring when Gandalf's talking about, by the way, this is what we were doing for about 2 pages. But there's really not a lot of material to go on, and I'm very much afraid it's going to be like The Hobbit, but worse.
Oh, okay. So, shove hands. The Hobbit is a 1-movie thing, not a 3-movie thing. Not a 3-movie thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wasn't fascinated with the Hobbit movie.
Yeah.
The Peter Jackson Hobbit.
Yeah, he was forced to unnecessarily drag it out. It wasn't originally going to be him. It was going to be another auteur. And I always forget his name, but he's a genius with like spooky weird stuff.
Del
But
Toro,
anyway,
isn't it?
yes, yeah. The not the actor Del Toro, but the director Del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo. So, anyway, so they ended up splitting the project of the 3 films between them, which was only going to be 2 films, which was really only 1 film. If you see the animated Hobbit, it's like very short. It's like 76 minutes or something. It's like really short, and it's brilliant. And they didn't have to do any more than that to carry the story across, and it still would have been beloved. But as others have said, even today, they like big bags of money, so they made it into 3 films for no reason. Anyway.
Yes. So they added a bunch of characters. They kind of did what Rings of Power did. They wrote the characters Tolkien didn't write. They dragged Legolas into it and just made up all this ridiculous stuff. And it is funny when you watch the trilogy, if you watch the stuff that is just based on what Tolkien wrote, Jackson did a great job. There's really great scenes with the riddles in the dark. In the Battle of the 5 Armies, I thought that was very well done as well. But beyond that, it's just, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm being slowly stretched like taffy across 5,000 miles. It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's I know I'm not an expert in the Lord of the Rings franchise by any means, but I have talked to people who are. And a lot of them are kind of like, Gollum? That's a kind of a strange way to take this franchise right here. But apparently, I guess the writers, Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens, along with Peter Jackson, have been kind of mulling around how to actually, bring a new Lord of the Rings story to life. Obviously, the first trilogy was unbelievably successful, and we know that Zaslav is very, very desperate to activate any of its franchises in a big, meaningful way and kind of course correct for that whole company and get them out of their debt position that they are in right now. So I can understand the allure of going back to this in some way. However, I don't know if I would have picked this way. Now, apparently, is it true that Andy Serkis is directing?
Correct. Directing and starring. So I
Okay.
can understand why he would want to do it. That's a great
Sure.
vehicle for him.
Right. I absolutely concur. The problem, though, is that I don't know how much of a hunger there is to tell this story right here from fans. I mean, conceivably, you slap anything with Lord of the Rings on it, it's very successful, right? As we just learned with Rings of Power, or is it more complicated than that?
Well, I think this has already been done because didn't we just get a video game based on it?
Yes, apparently we did.
Yeah.
Not the good one, by the way. Yeah.
Well, and there's already been a fan film with the exact same title that came out about 20 years ago, and they tried to copyright strike it.
I heard.
And
Yeah.
They won the counter argument, but it's like, yes, so this has actually already been done. And it's really kind of good. If you watch it, it's about 30 minutes. It's called The Hunt for Gollum. It's a nice little fan film, and they did a good job. I'm thinking maybe they also had to go this route because the way the rights are tied up, this is maybe the only thing they had the rights to. Sometimes people only have a right to like a few chapters at this point. We know they can't get the film really, and we know that the Unfinished Tales no one can touch. We know that goodness knows what the Rings of Power has. Maybe they went, what the hell can we make? And this is what they came up with.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, I mean, they do own the rights to the original stuff that Jackson was making, and they have extensive rights when it comes to the Battle of Rohirrim. And by the way, that is that anime is coming out here shortly. I can't wait to see that. So that's anime style.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just so skeptical anymore. I just wish that maybe they'd all just let it lie. It's listen, you've got probably what is arguably the best fantasy trilogy movie ever made.
Yes.
In the original Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. We've forgiven Peter Jackson for The Hobbit because of what we've already said. We know that he wasn't completely in control, and we forgive him because of Lord of the Rings. But if they come back and start to play this new, I don't know, hate the fans world of 2024, 25, I don't know if they're going to ruin their legacy. I just don't know. I can't imagine Peter Jackson doing that because he, even with all the criticism he got of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, he never attacked the fans. But we just don't know. We don't know what this is going to do.
And then again, that's also not too long ago, back in the day, where you didn't have these directors or these actors attacking the fans. If it was a bad movie, they were kind of like, you know what, we're sorry we let you down. I mean, that was pretty much it. And the fans pretty much forgave them for stuff like that. Like, yeah, we're gonna have a bad movie. But for the most part, they understood that the fans were the reason why their movies were so successful, why they could have the lifestyle that they have. Back before the dark times, before, Marina Sirtis lost her freaking mind. I remember at convention, she would tell the fans, she was just like, everything I have is because of you guys, my house, my car. So it is my pleasure to come here to the conventions to spend as much time and talk to you guys. She was just straight up, grateful. There were actors who just like, I can't believe you guys actually, when you would talk to me, I mean, I just have a bit part, but they just loved going because they loved interacting with the fans. Now, we'll say that the fans that they seem to not like are the fans that they feel they no longer want. And they don't understand that those fans are the ones that provide the money to make those engines run.
Yeah.
And I just don't get it. It's just like, why are you going to piss off half, why are you going to piss off the money? I mean,
yeah. I mean, can't you be a little more selfish, people? Come on, pretend you like us.
Yeah, just like pretend. Because I remember one time someone asked Michael Jordan if he was going to say I guess something about take a political stance, and he was like, "No, I'm not taking a political stance." He's like, "Hey, Republicans buy sneakers too."
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You know?
you're right. Nike.
Indeed, they have feet.
Yes,
Most of them.
wouldn't want to buy stuff like that.
Right. Well, it's interesting. As didn't 45 sell his sneaker line recently?
He did. It sold out too, from what I
There you go.
understand. So, you know.
There you go.
OCGD, thank you for that $4.99 super chat, my dear. So, seems in line with the times. Gollum is different, and they'll paint him as a victim. And see, that's what I don't like, because it gives me shades of that movie Maleficent, which I was looking forward to until they did what they did with her, with the character. It's like I don't want a victim. So I don't know, we'll see. At first I was excited about this, and then when I found out that there's like this thin amount of material that they're trying to go for, I don't know. I mean, if I would trust anyone with working with that, it would be Peter Jackson. But you know, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. Because when's the last time he touched anything that was Lord of the Rings related? It was The Hobbit, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
I think so.
I'm not
Okay,
entirely
yeah.
sure he's done anything since then, to be honest.
Yeah, that's my thing.
Was he involved in any of the games?
I don't think so. I don't know. Well, he made the little Hobbit world or something that he has. Isn't there like a park you can see in New Zealand where the sets, you can go visit the sets and go into the pub and drink beer? That's awesome. I'd do that, but I'm not flying to New Zealand just to do that.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I mean, I'd go to sleep in a hobbit hole.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, hobbits have really comfy looking little houses.
They do.
I mean, hairy feet, but they got cool little houses.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Well, we shall see what will happen with that. So, first of all, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Sure to appreciate you dropping into the Spice Lounge for our spicy chat and banter, and especially want to thank Teresa, Miss Martin Muses, for guest starring on the panel. So, my dear, please do tell people where they can find you and what you have coming up.
Well, you can find me here on YouTube on Miss Martin Muses, where I talk about what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Well, you can look forward to a breakdown of House of the Dragon trailer, the one we were just talking about, but I'm going to be going scene by scene, moment by moment, hopefully later on this evening. Also, more content from Fire and Blood, what will be happening with a spoiler label. So if you don't want to be spoiled, wait till the season airs before you see how I break it down from the books. And I every now and then have guests on for various things, crochet, nerd material, or just anything that strikes my fancy. So if you wouldn't mind, give me a like, share, and subscribe. I would appreciate it. Thank you so much, Lorena, for having me on.
Oh, you are welcome. You're welcome. Please do subscribe to my girl, Teresa. She's been around since, oh my gosh, since when I started my channel. So she's been such an awesome supporter. So I love supporting her when any chance that I get, and anytime I hear anything remotely related to fantasy, I gotta tag her in on it. So thank you so much, my dear, for being here. Culture, where can people find you? What you got going on, my dear?
Well, quite simply, you can check me out on my channel, which is Culture Casino. You can find me on YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, Mindsgetter, and Twitter, all under the same handle. So therefore, I'm easy to find. Fairly soon, when the beard products come in, finally, we will have a Instagram presence as well, which will be used primarily to pump products because, hey, I got to make money and eat too. On that note, you can check out a lot of videos I've dropped in the last several days that I've been being suppressed. That's right. My channel is under attack, whether you know it or not. Oh, it's crazy. So check out my videos there on the channel. Lots of good ones. Apparently, when I talk about Doctor Who, I'm allowed to talk and YouTube doesn't block me. But when I talk about Dismal Disney, they're not liking it so much. So yeah, so my channel's under attack and all of that. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I appreciate Lorena because she puts together a great panel twice a week. You know how I know that? Because I'm on it twice a week.
Well, thank you so much, my dear. You know, I love having you on. I love having you on the channel, especially when we're watching body cam video on Welcome to Florida show. Always a good time. Oh man, Vash, what do you have going on, and where can people find you, my dear?
Well, the best place to find me is on YouTube, I guess. That's That Park Place Podcast Online. It's right down there. T3PO and TPP. Actually, Lorena was on T3PO. Had a wonderful showing with Culture and Lou and Casual and everybody else. It was a lot of fun. So definitely go ahead and go over to that channel and watch the replay. It's a fun time. Trust me, guys. You'll have a fun time going at it. By the way, TPP tomorrow at noon Eastern, right there. I'm going to be joined by my good Culture right there. Hey, Lorena, you're obviously invited right there if you can make it. That would be awesome for sure. Going to be having a new theme park universe podcast very, very shortly right here. Usually should come out today. Maybe it's a live show. I don't know. And then Hollywood with Lou, Hollywood Backlot with Lou and you, sorry about that, has been delayed a little bit. Sorry, guys, I tried to get it done by today, but man, it just was not happening. Computer did not like me, so it will be coming out tomorrow morning, bright and early right there. Had some filler content today in order so that you guys have all the content you absolutely need. So thank you so much for having me on, Lorena. It is always a pleasure. And until next time, guys, we'll see you here on the Spice Lounge.
Thank you. I love it when Bash has all the all the sound effects, because I don't have a soundboard yet. As for your girl, let's see, what's today? Today's Wednesday. Okay, so Saturday and Sunday, it is a double shot of Stroll and Chill because it is Gator Palooza weekend at Gatorland, celebrating Gatorland's 75th year of being an independent theme park. So much stuff is going on. I think there's a Florida man race or something through the swamp. I think that's one day. I think another day there is like a mechanical alligator riding competition going on. But either way, fun, real Florida stuff, and hoping to get a look at the new baby leucistic gator and her brother, Mystic. She's not an albino. Albinos are all white. She's leucistic, so she's all white, but she has blue eyes, and she's only one of two in the world. So we're gonna go see her habitat and all her parents and her uncles and cousins and aunts. So we're gonna have fun doing some real Florida stuff this weekend. It is going to be a blast. Gatorland is one of my favorite local parks here to go to. Family owned and crazy busy, and I love it. Oh, and also before I forget, Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern, watch party with Retro Nerd Girl. We're going to be watching Shrek 2. We're going to be watching that. And Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, Welcome to Florida. Culture will be there. Dad Man Walking will be there. And of course, more Florida Man stories than we cannot possibly drop in 90 minutes, but we sure as heck are going to try. So thank you guys, as always, for supporting the Spice Lounge show. We love being here. We love having you guys here. And until next time, take care. Bye.
Bye.